If you're looking for more than the average front bumper when it comes to styling, this Barricade X Series front bumper with the red inserts will be a great pick for your 2018 or newer JL Wrangler. Now this will be great for the JL owner who wants a custom look when it comes to armor and wants to match any other red accessories that they may already have on the Jeep. Now this bumper isn't all about style though. This is going to be very tough and functional for the daily driver when it comes to on-road protection and the off-roader who needs some extra recovery options. This will feature a mid-width design offering ample coverage to the front end in addition to the grille with the integrated bull bar here. Now on either end and within the bull bar you'll also see some red mesh paneling, again setting this apart from the average all black option, and right in the lower center portion of this bumper this will have a fin design for that sporty feel. Now getting into the recovery of this bumper, this will have two welded D-ring mounts with hooks and a winch plate that's going to drop in and mount to the frame, capable of holding a 12,000 pound pulling capacity as far as a winch is concerned with a standard bolt pattern. Now what I think is pretty cool here too is that this will also come with a uniquely shaped fairlead and front license plate bracket if that's required for your state. Now this bumper will have a mild steel construction offering good strength with a two-stage epoxy pre-coating and high-grade texture black powder coat on top for the majority of the bumper. Now of course the mesh paneling here is going to have a cherry red powder coat, and that not only will offer a lot of style, but both coatings will protect the steel underneath from any rusting or corrosion. Now the only things here that's not steel is the included fairlead, and that's going to be made of a tough billet aluminum construction. Now this again will also come with everything that you need in order to install it, and it's not going to require any modification. You can just bolt this on and go. This will come in at roughly $875, which puts this at a pretty average price point for a front bumper in the category. Now, as you can probably assume, what stands out most about this bumper is really the shape and the design, setting itself apart with the boxy and more sharp details as well as the sporty red accents. Now, not to mention, it's going to offer all of the functionality too, and what's also great about this is that it's going to perfectly match with any other X Series fenders and the rear bumper if you're looking to go all out on your build. Install here will be an easy 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you about 2 hours to get the job done with some pretty basic hand tools. At this point, we can head over to the shop and check out a detailed breakdown of the install process step by step. So that's going to wrap it up for me. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Tools required for this install include an impact gun, an electric ratchet, a hand ratchet, a flathead screwdriver, an extension, a 10 and 13 millimeter wrench, an 8, 13, 16, and 18 millimeter sockets, a swivel adapter, and a 4 millimeter Allen bit. What's up guys? Today we're installing a front bumper on our Jeep. First we're gonna watch a quick video for how to uninstall our factory bumper, and then I'll meet you right back here for the install.
To begin this installation, we're gonna need to remove our factory bumper. We're gonna begin with the air dam underneath. There's a series of pop clips that we'll have to use a screwdriver or a trim panel removal tool, and there's 2 screws that we're gonna use an 8 millimeter socket for. All right, so we have 8 of these push pins all the way across the bottom. We're gonna just take and pop the center out, and that's gonna release that clip. So once you get the last screw out of the bottom, you're ready to pull the whole shield off. So next we're going to take off this metal shield using a 16 millimeter socket. You're going to have 1 bolt on either side. After you get those bolts off, you can lift this up and it'll slide right off. So next we're gonna unplug our fog light harness. It's located here on the passenger side frame rail. We're just gonna press this tab in. And then we can disconnect our plug. So after we have our fog light harness unplugged, you're ready to remove the 4 nuts on both ends of the frame rail. We're going to use an 18mm socket to do this. So the last thing to disconnect before we pull our bumper off, there's going to be 2 push pins, one on either side on the top of the frame rail. We'll need to pop those out with a screwdriver, and then we can pull our bumper off. With everything disconnected, you can remove your stock bumper.
So our first step is to install our upper piece. We have a couple of bolt holes on each side. We're going to be using our bolts with our lock washer and flat washer. And then on the underside, we have a nut. So now we can install our bolts through our 2 holes. And then on the underside, we'll install our nut. Now to tighten these down, we can use a 13mm socket and a 13mm wrench. And then we'll do that same thing on the other side. Next, we can install our license plate bracket onto our bumper. So we'll lay that down and then get our button head bolts through with our nuts on the back. And then we'll tighten that down using a 4mm Allen bit and a 10mm wrench. Next, we can install our mounting studs into our holes. So we'll take that and angle it in from the back, and then we can install our retainer clips. So we can just spin those on like that. And then we'll do that same thing on the other side. So our next step is to mount our winch plate up into our frame. Now we have an M10 bolt that's going to be going into this bracket. We're going to be sliding that through this hole, right up to this top hole here. And then we have an M8 bolt for our threaded hole in the side. So now would be a good time to grab yourself a buddy to help you lift this up and get our bolts threaded in. So now once you've got yourself a buddy, we can lift up our winch plate and start to mount our hardware. Now once again, our bracket's gonna go through our big hole here and up to our top hole. So now we can line up our two holes and take an 18mm socket and tighten up our bottom bolt. And then we'll switch to our 16mm socket for our top bolt. So now we're ready to mount our front bumper. To do so, we're going to be putting a flat washer, a lock washer, and a nut on the back side of our studs that we mounted into our bumper. So once again, I've got myself a buddy to help me lift this on and get our hardware started. So now we can grab an 18mm socket and tighten down all of our nuts. And then we'll do that same thing for our remaining 6 nuts. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Barricade X Series front bumper with red inserts for your 2018 and newer Jeep Wrangler JL. Thank you for watching, and for all things Wrangler, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.